All right, super excited to have my friend Brett out of Melbourne, Florida, with Enlightening All with us today. And Brett, you've got a lot of exciting stuff going on. You've got a huge program that's being launched here soon that's going to be like a reality TV, and you're working with a lot of people down in Florida, and you've been using some of the products and getting great results. So, with all that being said, welcome to the podcast. How you doing down there today?
Great, Sean. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to talking to you about this. You sent me this a year ago, right at Christmas time, and I said I wanted to test it for a long time before I did a review. And I actually used this product for an entire year as a hair dryer and body dryer after the shower. It takes like 10 minutes a day, and saw great hair growth, wrinkle reducing. Lots of great benefits from it. I do on my skin, even just the texture of my skin by using it on the highest level. You can use it on extra hot and you don't burn yourself because your skin is damp. So I found it works really well that way and gave me great results.
That's awesome. And I'm really happy you got the results. You do a lot of yoga and a lot of wellness consulting and classes and different things down there. What kind of results have you gotten with some of the people that you work with? Have there been people down there also getting benefits from using it?
Well, I haven't really used this on other people. I was using it on myself. I mean, I've used it on other people occasionally to show them how it works and some
Yeah.
demos at the class, but no one has taken it home and used it extensively to give me a result off it. And that's something that where I'm looking forward to doing now that I have the place. We just opened the studio a month ago, and we're just trying to get traction now. We're actually doing a holistic wellness biohacking event here on January 24th. And that's going to be limited to 100 people. We're going to have 16 different vendors, and you get to taste test all the different vendors.
It's amazing. That is going to be a great conference, and I'm very excited to try to get down there myself. I just want to circle back with the terahertz wand. The first thing you were talking about is hair growth. How thick and how much hair have you grown back in, say, the last year or so?
Well, it's grown to where I don't have to work hard to do a comb over on the back of my head anymore. It filled it in on the top and stuff, and it grows faster. It's just heating and I think stimulating the scalp, but even the face and doing it in your mouth
Yes.
keeps your teeth clean with that black
Yep.
light. I really try to get in there.
Yep.
Um, Breathing it through the nose, and it has done an exceptional job. I have not been getting as like over the last year, can't remember having a cold over the last year since I've been using this because I keep breathing it in through my nose. If I feel like I've got allergies or a cold coming on, I just keep breathing in the heat through my nose and my mouth, and it seems to work. I don't know yet. I can't tell because I haven't had one, but that's pretty impressive to say.
That is very impressive. And I've had other people too talk about how it's removing the bags under the eyes.
Hmm.
So I have a lady actually. We just put her testimonial up in the last few days. She's a phenomenal sort of a scientist, if you will, and she really understands like the science of what's actually happening with rebonding the hydrogen with the uh, hydrogen and oxygen bonds and the red light, blue light, and what that's doing to create these energy fields that basically detoxifies. It increases circulation, cellular regeneration, and it really opens up the flow for basically clogged parts of the body that start to create issues where you can address that, fix it, and literally bringing negative ions into areas with a lot of positive ions, which is really good for reducing pain and soreness and arthritis, which is another big thing. We've had a lot of people, though, like yourself, that have talked about the improvement of thickening of hair. And Brett, not to put you on the spot, brother, but you are the living, breathing word of anti-aging. So, with that being said, do you mind telling us how old you are?
I'm 55, and you can see I got gray in the chin, but that's from stress and hard work. But other than that, I'm pretty gray free. And it was funny because I tell people I could actually move into a 55 and up retirement community, and they all laugh because they can't believe I'm younger than them when I talk to them. A lot of times people are that I'm older than them. A lot of times people will think I'm younger than them and I'm actually older. So
Yeah.
it's common.
Which also ties into your lifestyle, which ties into the yoga and ties into some of the other things that you're doing there that I want to get into more detail on. And then let's talk about the skin. Like, what have you noticed about the skin? You were talking about reduced wrinkles.
Yes, the tiny fine lines around the eyes. I
Yep.
used to get Botox, and I haven't got Botox really since I believe I had it one or two times since COVID. I used to get it regularly, and I've noticed it diminished the lines around my eyes. There used to be I used to get it. I don't need it now, so that I can say. And it's been at least a year since I've had it or more.
Well, it's interesting because I've talked about the Botox, the red light, and when Botox first came out, which I want to say ballpark, maybe it was about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, that was all the rage because at that time there really wasn't a lot of alternative options per se. Botox was definitely something that had shown results. Some people using it for reducing headaches, which I'm sure it probably still has value for that. But in this day and age right now, the thing that's nice is that there is a lot of technology that's come out to address the skin, to address the wrinkles, to address, better, more flexible skin, if you will, and reducing the wrinkles. The Botox obviously is still very popular, but I think what's happening is that with the published FDA science showing how beneficial red light is for not just reducing wrinkles, but improving overall skin quality. And then you have the terahertz wand, which is increasing or adding the red light, the blue light, the terahertz frequency, the crystal, and all the different magnetic fields that it's bringing in. It's really helping to almost rejuvenate skin. So it's giving you so much more value than just the anti-wrinkle part of it. And I think now with the masks and some of the other things that we've got, people are really taking a serious look at that and going, hey, is it worth buying a device one time and using it like you do, coming out of the shower, on the hair, on the face there for a bit, and getting those types of results, than having to go and get these procedures done every 4 to 6 months or however often that's done. And just having one device right now that can handle a whole host of various different health benefits. What would your thoughts be on that?
Oh, I do it. I'd sit there and I use it on the bottoms of my feet and top of my feet because I've got arthritic toes. I have bone on my toes, on my big toes. I was a runner and did triathlons and stuff. They're just worn out. They hurt, and it works. I do feel benefit when the soothing heat going into them. So, it's hard to say what's all helping because I do so many things, but I do feel that there is benefit from this device. I mean, you can feel it. I mean, if I have something, if I have like, let's say, acne growing on my shoulder or something or anything, boy, I put it right on it. I like it, it just stops it right then its tracks. If I see it starting, I just keep using the wand on it for, a few minutes a day and until it goes away. Or it causes it to erupt sooner, either way.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting like things like that anymore. Oh, and styes on my eyes. I've actually had at least 8 styes removed off my eyes. Like I get them, you know, that I have to do stuff with them. But with this, since I'm putting this on my eyes every day, I haven't gotten a sty since. So
That's amazing. That is amazing. And are you putting it directly on, or are you like giving yourself a couple inches
no,
space
I'm
to?
putting it directly on. I put it on the medium setting though,
Yeah,
the
the
slow
medium is
setting.
the
Yeah.
soft setting,
And I
is the
hold it
soft
on
setting.
that like that. I put it right on them.
Yeah.
I do close my eye. I don't look into it because I don't want to blind
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
the amount of light. Okay, and if anyone's asking if this is going to hurt your vision, I've been doing it for a year, and actually my vision looks pretty crispy. It actually looks better now. I don't know if it's this or the sound bowls because I also do it to dry out my ears and everything. But my hearing from playing guitar and listening to loud music in all my younger years was, I feel, slightly diminished. My hearing is so much better right now that when I close a cabinet too hard, it actually makes my ears hurt. Like, think that noise. I'm hearing higher pitch frequencies. Now, it's a combination of me playing singing bowls every day now and this. I don't know because I've been playing singing bowls a lot more now that I have the studio.
Yeah.
And at first, like I thought singing bowls were hurting my ears, but I think they're helping my ears.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the frequency with sound bowls, and that's just such an ancient science that I interviewed a lady, atlantasoundhealing.com, who's a PhD that knows so much about it. And when you get into all the benefits of sound therapy, it's really mind-blowing. In fact, we do have that sound frequency watch that I'm going to have to get down there to you so you can demo that for us. And that has 1,100 different frequency sets. So you can tune it into just about anything and everything. And the power of sound is actually very, very powerful.
yes,
Um,
I
I
have
do
the
want to.
original Wave Watch. You sent me a Wave Watch at the same time you sent me this.
Oh, I did.
I
Okay.
do. I have the big one. I have the big
Yeah.
Wave Watch, and I've
Yeah.
wore it a lot. I've wore it a lot. One of the things on the Wave Watch is I like to put it on the chakra settings because you
Yep.
can't hear it. It's kind of
Yep.
hard to hear. Some of the settings aren't the best sounding, but with the chakra ones, you can turn it up to full volume and wear it all day, and the battery lasts the whole day.
Yeah.
That one, if you balance all your chakras out, everything else almost happens automatically.
Interesting. I love that.
Because look,
It's funny.
the Kundalini chart. Hold on, I got to grab this. Let me grab this.
Yeah. Grab it.
Kundalini energy flow. And it's funny, you look at the chart of it and it looks like the medical symbol. And you can
Yeah.
see the incoming hand and the
Yep.
outgoing hand and how the energy
Yep.
flows in a circle. Really, with Kundalini yoga, and doing the chakras with the bowls. And then I match up each color doing yoga nidra. So, like, I'll tell the people when I'm working the throat bowl that they're going to feel the white golden light coming into their throat. And then it's going into their heart when I'm playing the heart bowl. And I walk them down through it. They can feel it hitting each one as I do it. And then I found an amazing hold that I use crystals in their hands and their toes. And if I do a lock on the crystals that are in their toes at the end of it, and it's a female, it will do yin yang, feminine, masculine balance that you feel shoot through your bodies instantly in
Wow.
1 minute. And everyone that's done it goes, they can't even believe they're feeling that amount of energy flow through them.
That's amazing.
And a woman can do it to a man can do it to a woman, but if you try doing it to the same sex, it barely does anything. You can actually balance that. And if you read what enlightenment is, it says balancing all the chakras, including the masculine and the feminine. Well, if you're a man, how do you balance the masculine? And if you're a woman, how do you balance the feminine? I may have found a way to do both.
I love that. Brett, what's really awesome is that, we've got a wellness center here, but you've got your center down there. So one of the things is you're always working with people and you're always seeing in real time the benefits and the results that come from the work that you do. And at 55 years young, you've got a lot of experience and you've learned a lot in this lifetime of accumulating and being in these fields. So it's really nice for you to be able to kind of work with these people, develop all this, wellness sort of technology, even though it doesn't necessarily require technology. We're talking crystals and singing bowls or healing bowls, right?
Mhm.
So that is also really, really fascinating, which I love that you're, firsthand on experience. I want to circle back to something real quick, and then I want to
Okay.
get back into talking about the center.
Okay.
When you're talking about using it on the mouth and you're talking about using it for acne and these different things, one question that I get, obviously, is how does the terahertz wand work? Well, for anybody out there that doesn't know, the terahertz frequency sits right next to red light frequency. So it's a high frequency field or high frequency section of the frequency chart. And basically, what it does, it gets your cells to their optimal vibrational rate. So cells vibrate, and the healthier the cell, the higher the vibration. And we'll say, as an example, healthy cells vibrate at about 15,000 vibrations per second. Now, when you're using a terahertz wand, what it's doing is it's finding cells that are running at 10, 11, 12, and it's bringing them back up to their optimal vibration, their peak optimal performance, if you will. Bacteria, fungus, and what I call garbage cells all resonate at very low frequency. So fungus, bacteria, pathogens, they vibrate at a very low frequency. So when they're put into a high frequency vibration, it's like putting them on a treadmill and all they can do is walk, but you've got them on run mode. So your healthy cells want to run, 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 and unhealthy cells and those types of cells can only walk slow. So when you put them on a treadmill that's moving at 15 miles an hour in run mode, the unhealthy cells get thrown off the treadmill, basically get destroyed. So that frequency set when you're running it is basically killing off or destroying all of the lower frequency stuff, which is the stuff that you don't want. So say bacteria in the mouth or say, viruses, people use it a lot on a sore throat. The other thing is that because it's got quartz crystal, red light, blue light, and the terahertz frequency, the culmination of all four of those allows it to penetrate about 8 inches into the body. So we do get a lot of people also, like if you put it on the throat, it's going to totally penetrate into the throat area. If you put it on, say, a part of your stomach, it'll penetrate in and get to the organs. So some people use it on their heart, some people use it like with COPD on their lungs. And then you've got, like you said, I think one of the smartest and best things that the original manufacturers talked about over 10 years ago was using it on the bottom of the feet and the hands because of all the pressure points. And so all those pressure points and all those areas down there, when you're using it on your feet, you're literally sending energy to all parts of your body because you're opening up those meridians, sending energy through them, which is the exact same principle of how reflexology and acupuncture and all these really sort of ancient types of holistic therapy work. So I really do appreciate that. And, just because I've been doing it a while, I wanted to just bring up, and that's why it's good for acne as well, because acne, generally speaking, is, bacteria and stuff that's getting underneath the skin that's causing it to sort of puff out. And when you can go after it and start killing that bacteria under the skin, then and it helps the skin anyway, but it's also getting rid of some of the underlying issues that are causing acne and different types of problems. So I really do appreciate
Right. And
it.
okay, then that brings up a point. I have rosacea and I have a scar on my cheek that is from a rosacea growth that would not go away. And I had to go to the doctor. They put me on not hydroxychloroquine. What's the other one? Ivermectin. They put me on ivermectin cream, and that was the first thing that cleared it up. And I've been fighting it for years, and I got scarring on my face. And that's part of what was giving me styes, they think, is rosacea, because I have just a slight bit of redness in my blonde hair.
Right.
And so they said I'm susceptible to rosacea for that. And I haven't had any rosacea flare-ups since I've been using this as well. And even a couple like little tiny ones I did, I put the ivermectin cream on it and hit this with it, and it was gone in a day. And
Yeah.
I've never got it gone that quick. So
Yes.
with putting the ivermectin cream and that, it is making it super fast. And you can't say, hey, there's medical reasons for some of these things, like ivermectin's made out of natural products. So there are things that are good for you that sometimes you need a pill for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's still always going to be a need at some level for other, types of background medical treatment. But the one thing also that's good you bring that up is that it's not classified as a medical device.
Mhm.
So it's not to be, construed as if you have a serious health condition, consult a medical professional. And even though you're getting results, and we've got thousands of people that have had great results, we don't make any claims that other people will get the same results. But we are seeing that this is really starting to, after the last 5 years of doing this now, and with all the testimonials, and these things had been out for 10 years prior before they made it to the States. They were used in Malaysia and the Philippines and other areas in Asia. There's a lot of parts of the world where a lot of newer technology is there first before it even makes its way to the States, which I find interesting, but actually quite true. Japan is always seems to be 3 or 4 years ahead of us with new tech, but with all that being said, this little device has had so many benefits. The other thing that I might just suggest as well is that if you point it at a glass of water and you use it, basically pointing it at the water for about 30 to 45 seconds and drink it, it does also help with higher levels of hydration. It helps with getting fungus and cleansing the cell. And people do report that they do get better benefit when used in the wand for various different things. So that's another
Mhm.
thing to consider.
Well, we are water. So if we're 80% water and water is vibrational energy, that's how we're changing the vibration by putting different vibration of water in us as hearing it outside with a singing bowl or using a wand. And does this use scalar waves that I saw in that thing? Does there
It
something with
does.
scalar? Okay.
Mhm.
How does the scalar wave technology, how does that work? How does it, is it
So
just that the way that
basically,
it
it's
rolls the waves through it?
yeah, it's exactly right. And it's got, if you look at the end of it, it's got that big piece of quartz in it.
Hmm.
And quartz basically creates a magnetic field when it goes through that. And then it's got chips in there. You've got the red light. You see the blue light for us because red light comes in a multiple group of spectrums. Our eyes are only actually able to see about 7% of the light spectrum. So there
Hmm.
are different variations of infrared and red light that we can't see. But just like dogs have a better sense of hearing and a better sense of smell, there some creatures have better. Our eyes actually are probably pretty good considering other animals that don't see as well as we do. But there
Well,
are
here's
parts.
one thing I wonder about this because you see two rainbows, and when you see a
Yeah.
double stacked rainbow, everything you can't see between the two rainbows is light that's
Yes,
outside the spectrum that we can see. So it shows you there's a lot. Sometimes
there is
rainbows
a
look pretty
lot.
far apart. There's a lot between them.
There is a
So,
lot.
yes, and anything could be hiding within them. And that's how I figured out how to color shift things. So I do videos at the beach in the morning, and I'll point my camera straight at the rising sun. And then what you can do is you video like for 10 straight minutes at a sunrise, and then you slowly scan your phone across the footage. And what you do is you color shift it. You bring out the 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 uh the the brightness and the contrast, and you adjust the saturation. And suddenly, by changing that, you're changing the colors and you start bringing out things in the sky that you could not see. And I
Wow.
actually see moving like ships in the sky that I have video, and you can see them on my channel that I found because it either reflects the sun or it blocks the sun. When there's something moving in the air, it has to do one of those two things. So if you're shifting the colors and you couldn't see it before, you can see it with the color shift, and you will see more stuff move in the sky than you realize.
Wow, that's amazing. What's interesting also is that sunrise and sunset are the two most powerful times of the day from an energy perspective because the rays of the sun are going directly across the atmosphere from a horizontal angle and not a vertical angle. And the sun and the rays of the sun going completely through the atmosphere create this large energy charge in the atmosphere. So at those times of the day when the sun's at an angle, and that light is going horizontally across, those are always the best times to get outside, get fresh air. Like you said, get some deep breathing in, maybe a walk or some yoga, whatever it might be. But in the yoga field and in Vedic, history, those are always the most powerful times. There's actually yogis and sadhus that would do what they call sun gazing, where they can literally absorb the energy of the sun and use that to charge and run their bodies and live off little or no food.
I've seen that. And this morning, I literally, my post today on Facebook, if you take a look at it, I posted the sunrise. I was going out there staring at the sunrise and had my foot planted on a palm tree. And I showed grounding on a tree while you're watching the sunrise just this morning as my post.
This is such a good segue, Brett, because now we're going to talk about grounding, which is so powerful. Like I want to do these big videos on reducing inflammation and getting more energy and creating better blood and better sleep and all these things. It's
Mhm.
all done by basically grounding slash earthing. And just for anybody that's out there wondering, what is the difference between grounding and earthing, or what the heck is it to begin with? Earthing is what you're doing when you're directly touching the earth. So when your feet are on the earth, you're absorbing the energy of the earth and bringing electrons into the body, which are so important for basically neutralizing free radical cells. Free radical cells are cells that are missing electrons and they are unstable and they cause a lot of inflammation in the body. So the minute your body is touching the earth or a tree, which is actually embedded into the earth, probably bringing up even more electrons, you're immediately reducing inflammation. You're bringing electrons in that coat the red blood cell. So your blood is not clumping and clotting, which a lot of people have. It's electron deficiency because they're not touching the earth. And then grounding is the process of doing that, but using a fabric or another type of material. So since the 1950s, there's been uh, construction codes where you have to have a copper rod outside your house. A grounding rod is what it's actually called. And if there's ever a surge in electrical energy, lightning strike or something, it comes into the building, and then that grounding channel takes it and sends it into that grounding rod, which neutralizes that charge. But because copper is conductive, it brings that electrical frequency from the earth and those electrons from the grounding rod up to the outlet. And then we sell the anti-aging blankets and pillowcases, which are 40% silver. And then those basically bring the electrons in the body. So when you're laying on the fabric, it's non-different than basically being outside and grounding or earthing, I should say. But people say earthing, grounding, it's the same thing, just two different modalities of how it's being done. And for me right now in Virginia, it's going to be in the 50s today, but it got a little cooler last week. It's, and for people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Canada, hey, you know what? If it's a little tough to get outside and get your feet on the ground, get some grounding technology and you can lay in bed every night, go to sleep, and get 8 hours of grounding, which reduces the inflammation, better sleep, less anxiety, deeper REM sleep, good for the blood, good for inflammation, more energy, more recovery. I love the fact that you get to do it on the beach every day because then you're getting all those negative ions that are coming off the crashing of the waves in the ocean. And you're
Mhm.
out there in the Earth's atmosphere when that sun's coming up, which is the golden time of the day right there. As a
It
guy that lived
is.
in San Diego for almost 30 years, man, my highlight of my day would be getting up in the morning and walking the beach and watching sunset or
Hmm.
sunrise or
Hmm.
both.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I got to get out there more. I've been working so many hours the last couple months trying to get this place going. I have not been there. I used to go at least like 3 times a week, and get that morning energy twice a week at least.
Yeah.
And it does, it resets you when I go that week and I go for like a couple mile walk and just go in the water and let that the healing water, also the salt water, the salt air going through your
Yeah.
lungs. I
Oh,
breathe
yeah.
so free and clear when I leave there.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
It's body, mind, spirit too. I mean, it's good. Like you feel good after you've been out there, just like your whole body just feels good. You've absorbed that energy and that vibration of the earth and the atmosphere. It's magical.
And
It's
the sunlight that you don't get if you stay cooped up inside and put suntan lotion all over yourself, because then you don't get vitamin D3 from the sun. And if you don't eat eggs with yolks, then you don't get K3, K2 to your body can actually take in the D3 from the sun.